A series of leaked documents shows that patients in China with symptoms similar to COVID-19 were hospitalized months before the regime's official timeline, throwing into question when exactly the CCP virus began spreading in Wuhan, China's epidemic ground zero. According to hospital data obtained by the Epoch Times from a trusted source who has access to government documents, at least one patient with COVID-19-like symptoms was treated in September 2019, and dozens more were hospitalized over the following month. Wuhan hospitals also reported several deaths in October 2019 due to severe pneumonia, lung infections, and other symptoms similar to COVID-19 patients. The city's health commission only publicly announced an outbreak of a novel form of pneumonia on December 31, 2019. After social media posts by whistleblower doctors had gone viral. In a letter dated February 19th obtained by the Epoch Times, a national investigation team set up by the central government stated that it wished to trace early cases of the disease. It asked local authorities for data from all Wuhan medical institutions over the period between October 1st to December 10th, 2019. Including information on patients who visited fever clinics in the vicinity of the Hunan seafood market, a wet market that the officials initially identified as the outbreak origin. Details of the earliest 10 suspected cases at each medical agency rated Tier 2 or above, 3 is the highest, and pneumonia deaths with COVID-19-like symptoms. The letter stated that 9 hospitals which received the most COVID-19 patients in the city were key to the investigation. The Epoch Times had access to part of the records in response to the inquiry, those from 11 hospitals. Despite the collected data, the Wuhan Outbreak Control Task Force told the media on February 26th that the earliest documented patient was a person surnamed Chen, who fell ill on December 8, 2019. It's unclear whether authorities conducted any inquiries into early cases prior to February. To some critics, the investigation appeared rather narrow and came too late. Sean Lin, former lab director of the viral disease branch at the Walter Reed Army Institute of Research, told the Epoch Times, "For such a massive respiratory disease to break out in the area, how come they didn't track down all other hospitals?" He said this should have been done a long time ago, and called the delayed inquiry ridiculous. The obtained records showed 9 deaths due to COVID-19-like symptoms at 3 hospitals. 5 were severe pneumonia patients who died between November and December 2019 at the Wuhan No. 6 hospital, one of the hospitals named in the inquiry letter. The Wuhan Hospital of Traditional Chinese Medicine, a tertiary hospital, had 3 deaths in October. Wuhan No. 8 hospital recorded 1 death. Patients died within a period of several days to about 4 weeks after their first symptoms appeared. For example, Xu Zhengqian was hospitalized at Wuhan No. 6 hospital. According to the hospital's clinical description, the 82-year-old started exhibiting symptoms on October 1, 2019, including coughing fits without an apparent cause and coughed up white phlegm, a sign of respiratory infection. The patient was transferred from another facility shortly before his death on November 3rd. 3 other patients at the same hospital also had difficulty breathing before they died. Their CT scans showed blurred markings in their lungs, patterns that matched the lesions on some COVID-19 patients. The files also identified at least 40 other suspected COVID-19 patients across 8 hospitals, the earliest one being 67-year-old Xiao Niangui, who began exhibiting symptoms on September 5, 2019, and was hospitalized at the Wuhan Puren Jiang'an Hospital. Wuhan has 205 health facilities at the community and township level and 66 designated hospitals for treating COVID-19 patients, city officials said in March. China's lack of transparency has been heavily criticized by government officials. It consistently refused to allow experts into China from the United States and the World Health Organization to study the outbreak in the country. On February 12th, an official from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said the agency was still unable to access direct data about the outbreak and continued to be hopeful that we'll be invited to do that. In a media interview released on May 1st, a WHO representative in China also said China has excluded the organization's experts from the country's virus probe.
There is no reason for measures that...
According to internal Chinese government documents recently obtained by the Epoch Times, the Chinese regime is planning to build more rocket sleds used to test missiles, artillery and aerospace equipment at a military base in Inner Mongolia. Called Base 051, the site is operated by China's largest state-run defense company, China Ordnance Industries Group Corps, Norinco. It has been testing weapons since 1965. Few details are known about the secretive base. The documents reveal the type of weapons that are being tested at Base 051, as well as the Chinese regime's development plans for the base until the year 2025, which include a rocket sled center that will have the capability to test out hypersonic weapons. The projects will have a total budget of 23 trillion yuan, about $3.4 trillion. Rick Fisher, a senior fellow at Virginia-based think tank International Assessment and Strategy Center and an Epoch Times contributor, said that Norinco is investing in hypersonic speed rocket sleds could indicate that it is now developing hypersonic weapons for new, much faster artillery rockets or even larger short-range ballistic missiles, SRBMs, than it recently has developed. Such hypersonic weapons would be much more difficult to counter than current artillery and SRBMs, and thus would be desired by the People's Liberation Army. In Chinese media, most reports only mention a rocket sled in Xiangyang City in central China's Hubei province, while little is known about Base 051. However, in May 2018, the mayor of Alxalig in Inner Mongolia mentioned in an administrative report that Base 051 has a rocket sled. Alxalig is located in the far western part of the region and is also home to both a satellite launch center and a facility that tests and manufactures airships. In an internal document that the Alxalig government sent to the central government's National Development and Reform Commission in May, the League reported the accomplishments of the facility from 2016 to 2020. The document states, Base 051 built medium and long-range launch sites, air defense anti-missile launch sites, and high-energy damage testing sites in the Alza left banner. The base also has zones for helicopter and drone testing, static explosion testing and military exercises, while some 600,000 specialists use the site for testing weapons from 2016 to 2019, it stated. The document also detailed the base's 14th five-year plan from 2021 to 2025. The base should develop the ability to test land-based and air-based weapons, such as missiles and rocket launchers that have ultra-long-range reach, the Alxa government stated. Ultra-long-range has different standards depending on the weapon. For a rocket launcher, Chinese state media called one that can reach targets more than 400 kilometers, 250 miles away, an ultra-long-range rocket launcher. Meanwhile, an ultra-long-range missile can reach a target that is 3,400 miles away. The document also mentioned detailed plans for its rocket sleds. The base's rocket sled platform is 16 kilometers or 10 miles long, but to strengthen the technological development and application of rocket sleds, the document stated that the government will build more sleds, including a hypersonic rocket sled and a magnetic levitation rocket sled with electromagnetic boosters. Magnetic levitation, or maglev for short, allows a vehicle to travel at high speeds while encountering little to no friction. Fisher says building a maglev sled is curious, as it could mean that China is developing a hypersonic speed scramjet-powered near-Earth orbit spaceplane that might bomb Japan or Taiwan and then land at the large but still very underutilized Zhuhai International Airport. The Zhuhai Airport is located in southern China. A spaceplane is a vehicle that can fly like an aircraft in Earth's atmosphere and also navigate outer space like a spacecraft. The Chinese regime sees the self-ruled state of Taiwan as part of its territory and has threatened to use military force to bring the island under its control. While Japan and China also have competing territorial claims, to the Senkaku Islands located in the East China Sea. Fisher noted, at such high speeds and high altitude, such a bomber would be very difficult to shoot down and, unlike a missile, could be reused for many missions. The budget for the new projects is 23 trillion yuan, with the funding coming from the central government. The document also summarized the budget for 2020, which was 1.25 trillion yuan, about $184 million. Because the projects are secret and all contracts are classified, only the road construction costs would be recorded on paper as fixed assets, which for the year 2020 would be 19 million yuan, $2.8 million. That means only about 1.5% of the actual budget would be counted as part of China's defense budget. Officially, China says that its total defense spending is roughly $266 billion. But its true defense spending has long been questioned, since the regime is known for its lack of transparency. The details about the projects demonstrate how the defense budget is severely underreported.
Since October 11th, CCTV, mouthpiece of the CCP, has continuously broadcasted a number of videos of Taiwanese confessing to so-called spying. Experts believe that such propaganda will only have a counterproductive effect on the people of Taiwan, which actually helps the Democratic Progressive Party of Taiwan. On October 12th, the television program called Focus Talk, which airs on China's state-run broadcaster CCTV, reported that Zheng Yuqing, a Taiwanese scholar who had taught in the Czech Republic, was arrested by the CCP last year. It was also said that Zheng Yuqing was a former aide to ex-ruling Democratic Progressive Party chairman Zhou Rongtai. Another case the day before was about Taiwanese citizen Li Mengchu, who confessed guilt on TV without trial. Fan Shiping, a professor in the Department of Political Science at National Taiwan Normal University, pointed out that the two so-called Taiwan espionage cases were handled very roughly.
Very unprofessional operating methods, because these two people are actually a long way from doing spy activities from a strict point of view. The scholar came out yesterday and helped some intelligence units in Taiwan write some reports. This is actually very common in Taiwan. We have all done these things before. If you define this as spy, I think scholars in mainland China are all probably spies. They also have a close relationship with the Taiwan Affairs Office of China and the Ministry of National Security.
In the evening of October 12th, Zhou Rongtai posted on Facebook, clarifying that he has never had an assistant called Zheng Yuqing, and he did not even know him. Taiwan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs said on the 13th there were a number of factual mistakes in the CCTV program. Taiwan Premier Su Zhenchang said China was spreading slander and creating terror. He said,
中国老是用这种莫须有的人、莫须有的事来污蔑，同时也制造恐怖，其实不像个大国的行为。
At the end of August, the president of the Czech Republic led a delegation visiting Taiwan and signed 3 economic and trade memoria, despite pressure from the CCP angering Beijing authorities. After Zheng Yuqing's confession on CCTV, the party media CGTN even accused him of infiltrating the Czech Republic to provoke Sino-European relations and attempting to instigate mainland personnel. However, looking at Zheng Yuqing's previous remarks online, he had publicly promoted the CCP's Belt and Road Initiative during his stay in the Czech Republic, which was favored by CCP officials. In 2015, Zheng Yuqing published an article praising that the CCP's One Belt, One Road initiative has enabled China and Europe to enter a life community that shares fortune and misfortune, and will definitely succeed. On September 23, 2017, he was invited to participate in the 2017 annual conference of Education Forum, Belt and Road Educational Cooperation in Xi'an, China. At that time, he said that China has a lot of room in stabilizing international organizations. In addition, Zheng Yuqing's One China remarks have also been promoted by the party media. At the end of 2012, Zheng Yuqing said in an interview with the Hong Kong media CRNTT.com that the DPP's acceptance of One China is only a matter of timing, and it is impossible for the DPP to win the 2016 election. At that time, Huanqiu.com also shared the report, adding that Zheng Yuqing stated that Taiwan is a province of China from the perspective of the European Union.
The CCP cannot back down if politicians from Western world are constantly visiting Taiwan. The CCP knows that it won't work if it is really being excluded from the free world, so it just finds some doormats to bully easily. It doesn't dare to arrest people who are very influential, so it arrests some less influential people and asks them to plead guilty in the CCP's official media. In fact, it is to save CCP's face in front of the Chinese people.
Professor Fan Shiping also believes that the CCP's move is mainly for internal propaganda, because it will only have a counterproductive effect if broadcasted to Taiwan, helping the DPP government instead.
How can someone come out pleading guilty before going through a trial? This is a completely false confession. This just highlights that there is no rule of law in mainland China. How do you think the people of Taiwan will view this? Try not to go to mainland China. If a scholar is treated like this, how will the CCP treat the ordinary Taiwan citizen? They could give you a random charge like prostitution. It's so easy for them to do this. Instead, it makes the Taiwanese more fearful of the CCP. I think it is actually helping the DPP.
The National Security Agency of the CCP recently claimed that it had cracked hundreds of espionage cases and caught many Taiwanese spies. Observers said that the current situation in the Taiwan Strait is unprecedentedly tense. Accusing people as spies is a diplomatic retaliation tactic frequently used by the CCP in recent years.
Liu Peng, director of the local police station in Cili County, Zhangjiajie City, Hunan Province, was recently exposed for demanding a $3 million bribe from a company involved in dealing with a trans-provincial case, causing an uproar of public opinion. However, a former Chinese policeman has revealed that such extortion is actually quite common. Everyone from top to bottom in the CCP bureaucracy wants to take advantage of their power. An audio recording of Liu Peng handling the case went viral online.
In fact, with money it becomes easy. My original intention is this. Earning money is my original intention. For the cases we're dealing with, we'll talk with them if they are in trouble. By talking with them, we can earn a lot of money. After getting the money, we can close the case. What reasons do we use? The evidence is insufficient and the facts are unclear. We use these reasons to close the case. My original intention was to make about $3 million. That'll do.
After the recording was released, a large number of netizens lashed out, arresting people for money. Isn't he a kidnapper? A police station director can earn $3 million with just one case. This is so much cooler than bandits. These dirty, filthy things have nothing but greed in their eyes. They have no humanity. Chinese media report that the recording was provided by Ye Si, the former legal representative of Wuhan Yancheng Group. He revealed that the recording was made on May 12th at the Cart Bridge Police Station in Cili County, Zhangjiajie City, and the speaker was Liu Peng, the police station director. According to the report, in July 2019, 2 legal representatives of Wuhan Yancheng Group were seized by the Cart Bridge Police Station from another province. The group's funds were frozen, resulting in the group being forced to close down. Some $40 million in inventory expired and was scrapped, and nearly 1,000 employees lost their jobs. The report says similar cases involving about 16 companies and more than 60 people were mostly withdrawn and not persecuted after being paid off. The Public Security Bureau of Zhangjiajie issued a notice on October 11th, saying it has set up a joint investigation team to investigate the incident. Such things are all too common in China, said Dong Guangping, a pro-democracy activist in mainland China. Whatever cases the public security organs of the CCP deal with, their first consideration is to make money. It is lawless. He can arrest you even if you didn't operate illegally.
Because for any business, the way you run it, you can't do business in a lawful way. You'll never make any money if you do your business that way. There are always some gray areas. Tax evasion, tax avoidance, etc. There are some business strategies about it.
Dong says the CCP's public security organs take advantage of this loophole, seizing entrepreneurs and businessmen at will to extort money. Liu Xiaobin, a former public security officer in Dalian City, said extortion by the police is common, but it's really surprising to extort millions for just one case.
If we think about it, it's actually quite normal because nowadays, for example, a corrupt official can possess millions, tens of millions, billions. The public security departments takes advantage of their power to arrest people. After finding chances to make money from these cases, they focused on this. How can they extort money? They deal with these cases for this purpose.
Liu said that many cases were fabricated out of thin air, and some were deliberately fabricated by the public security authorities to create trouble and arrest people for extortion. For example, he said that at that time, the police station he was in was ordered by the director to crack down on pornography and arrest people who engaged in prostitution. Those who were caught would be released after paying a fine.
The fine didn't have any receipt. It's just paying $650 to $900, handing it to the police station. It's not known what benefit the director derived from it, and after that, the man will be released. He knew he couldn't just get the money back, so the money was spent by the police station to buy a car or something.
According to Liu, if there is no benefit, public security will basically do nothing to handle a case. For instance, there are cameras all over the country, but there are a large number of cases of abduction of women, children, or college students. Why can't they solve these cases?
They think there's nothing to earn, so they won't do it. They put all their energy into thinking about personal interest, gaining interest. The court uses its judgment power to get money from both the plaintiff and the defendant. It is the same to see whether there is interest for them.
There is also the judicial prison system, which uses its power to force detainees to make labor products for huge profits, said Liu.
The use of power for personal gain by the public security organs is a microcosm of the CCP's entire bureaucracy. No matter which branch of the CCP bureaucracy, as long as it has power, it takes advantage of the power in hand. It's a top-down general tendency.
The communist tyranny knows that no one believes it anymore, Liu said, so it uses the interests of officialdom to maintain its system. Extortion will not go away unless the system is eradicated.